Hey, listen carefully because what I'm about to share with you could literally save your life, especially if you're over 60. Most people don't realize this, but right now, at this very moment, you might have a serious blockage developing in your arteries, and you would have absolutely no idea it's happening. Your arteries are like the highways of your body, carrying oxygen-rich blood to your heart, your brain, your organs, everything that keeps you alive. But when plaque builds up inside these vessels, when cholesterol and other particles start sticking to the walls, the highway gets narrower and narrower until one day the traffic stops completely. And here's the terrifying part. It happens quietly, without pain, without any warning signs, and by the time most people notice something is wrong, the blockage is already severe. So today, I want to walk you through 5 specific signs that your arteries might be 80% blocked. 5 things your body has probably already been trying to tell you, but you might have missed them or dismissed them as just getting older. Because the truth is, if you catch these warning signs now, right now, you still have time to do something about it. Let me start with the first sign, and this one is so common that most people think it's completely normal. Have you noticed that you get tired more easily than you used to? Not just a little tired, but the kind of fatigue where you walk up a flight of stairs and you're breathing hard, or you walk from your car to the grocery store and suddenly you feel exhausted. This isn't laziness, and it's not just aging. When your arteries are severely blocked, your heart has to work much harder to pump blood through those narrowed passages. Every beat requires more effort, more oxygen, more energy. Your heart is essentially struggling to do a job that should be easy, and that struggle translates into your body feeling completely drained. I had a patient named Robert. He was 64 years old, and he told me that 6 months ago, he could walk his entire neighborhood without stopping. But gradually, over weeks and months, even short walks left him winded. He thought he was just getting older, becoming less fit. But it wasn't age, it was his arteries. When we checked him, we found an 85% blockage in his left anterior descending artery, one of the most critical vessels in the body. The second sign is something happening in your chest, and I need you to really pay attention to this. Chest discomfort or pain, but here's what confuses people. It might not feel like a dramatic heart attack pain. It might feel like pressure, like someone is squeezing your chest, or it might feel like heaviness, like there's a weight sitting on your chest. For some people, it comes and goes, especially when they're active or stressed. The classic example is someone who feels fine sitting at home, but the moment they try to exercise or climb stairs, they feel that pressure building in their chest. This is called angina, and it's your heart's way of screaming that it's not getting enough blood. When an artery is blocked at 80%, blood flow is severely restricted, and when you demand more from your heart, when you move or exert yourself, your heart suddenly doesn't have enough oxygen-rich blood to meet that demand. The pressure you feel is your heart in distress, and it's a massive red flag that should not be ignored. The third sign involves something that happens in your legs, something most people never connect to their arteries at all. Do you experience pain, heaviness, or cramping in your legs when you walk, especially in your calves? Does it feel like your legs are tight, like they're running out of fuel? This is called claudication, and it happens because the arteries in your legs are also affected by the same plaque buildup happening throughout your body. When you walk, your leg muscles demand more blood, more oxygen. But if the arteries feeding those muscles are severely blocked, they can't deliver. So you feel pain, you have to stop and rest, and then after a few minutes the pain goes away and you can walk again. I remember a woman named Patricia. She was 68, and she kept having to stop every couple of blocks during her walks with her grandchildren. She thought she was just getting weaker, losing fitness, but her leg pain was actually a sign that her entire arterial system was compromised, including the vessels leading to her heart. When we imaged her arteries, she had multiple blockages, over 80%. The fourth sign is something that happens in your brain and your thinking, and this one really surprises people. If you've been experiencing brain fog, difficulty concentrating, memory problems that seem to come out of nowhere, that could be your brain telling you it's not getting enough blood. Your brain is incredibly hungry for oxygen. It's only about 2% of your body weight, but it uses about 20% of your oxygen supply. When your major arteries are blocked, blood flow to the brain decreases, and your brain simply cannot function optimally. You might forget why you walked into a room. You might struggle to follow conversations. You might feel confused or mentally slower than you used to. These aren't signs of early dementia or normal aging. They could be signs of reduced blood flow to your brain caused by severe arterial blockage. The fifth sign involves your sexual function, and I know this might feel uncomfortable to talk about, but it's incredibly important. Erectile dysfunction in men, or decreased sexual response in both men and women, can be an early warning sign of severe arterial blockage. This is because the arteries that supply blood to your genitals are often the smallest arteries in your body. If plaque is building up in those small vessels, it's definitely building up in your larger, more critical arteries, the ones feeding your heart and brain. Studies show that men who experience erectile dysfunction have a significantly higher risk of heart disease, and sometimes the erectile dysfunction actually appears before the heart attack does. It's like your body is giving you a preview of the arterial damage happening throughout your system. Now here's what I want you to understand. These 5 signs don't always appear together, and they don't always appear in the same way for every person. Some people might only experience 1 or 2 of these signs. Some people might feel all of them. But the key point is that if you're experiencing any of these signs regularly, your arteries are trying to talk to you. The question is whether you're listening. The reason these blockages develop is multifaceted, but the core issue is usually the same. Over decades, cholesterol, particularly bad cholesterol, starts infiltrating the inner walls of your arteries. Your body responds by creating inflammation, and inflammation causes more plaque to accumulate. Simultaneously, your blood pressure is stressing the vessel walls, your stress hormones are triggering more inflammation, and your lifestyle habits, like lack of movement, poor diet, and smoking if you do that, are all accelerating the process. By the time you're 60, if you haven't been actively protecting your arteries, damage has almost certainly begun. And by the time you notice symptoms, the blockage could be advanced. The good news, and this is crucial, the good news is that your arteries have an incredible ability to heal and recover if you give them the right conditions. You don't need surgery right away to address this. You don't need to panic if you recognize yourself in these symptoms. What you need is awareness and action. First, you need to know your numbers. If you haven't had your cholesterol levels checked recently, that needs to happen immediately. You need to know your LDL cholesterol, your HDL cholesterol, and your triglycerides. You need to know your blood pressure. You need to know your blood sugar. These numbers tell you the state of your arterial health. Second, you need to start moving your body regularly. Not intense exercise if you're experiencing chest pain, but consistent, gentle movement. Walking for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, can improve blood flow and actually help reduce plaque buildup over time. Third, you need to change what you eat. Reducing processed foods, reducing sugar, increasing vegetables, healthy fats from sources like fish and olive oil, these dietary changes can genuinely improve your cholesterol levels and reduce inflammation in your arteries. Fourth, you need to manage stress, because chronic stress keeps your body in a state of inflammation, and inflammation accelerates arterial damage. And fifth, if you smoke, you need to stop. Smoking damages arterial walls directly and accelerates plaque buildup dramatically. If you're experiencing any of these 5 signs, please don't dismiss them as just getting older. Please talk to your doctor, get tested, get imaging if necessary, because catching arterial blockage before it becomes a full heart attack or stroke is literally the difference between life and death. Your quality of life depends on the health of your arteries. They're the infrastructure that keeps you alive, and they deserve your attention right now. Let me know in the comments, have you experienced any of these signs? Because your experience might help someone else recognize a pattern they've been ignoring. If this video resonated with you, please like it, subscribe for more health insights, specifically for people over 60, and share it with someone you care about, because this information could genuinely change their life. For more information on arterial health and blockage prevention, check out the resources from the American Heart Association, the Centers for Disease Control, and the National Institutes of Health, all of which provide evidence-based information about cardiovascular disease prevention and detection. Your heart has been beating for you your entire life, and protecting it now is one of the most important decisions you can make for your future.